Today I would like to read to you one of my favorite Christmas books, The Nutcracker. Now this story is based on a ballet. A ballet tells a story through music, dance, costumes, and scenery. There's no singing, there's no talking. So it leaves a lot to your imagination. And it's important to know the story before you go see the ballet so you can follow along with what is happening. Now this story about the Nutcracker was first written over 100 years ago, and like most good stories, it caught the imagination of a composer, Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. He composed the music to help tell the story of the Nutcracker. And over the years, many artists have illustrated books to tell the story of the Nutcracker. But this book by Susan Jeffers is one of my all-time favorites. So let's begin. It was Christmas Eve at the Stahlbaum's house. Marie and her little brother Fritz were listening at the ballroom door, waiting for the party to begin. Everyone was dancing when finally the last guest arrived. "Godfather!" cried Marie, rushing back to greet him. Herr Drosselmeyer was not only Marie's godfather, but he was also a famous toy maker. He could make toys that moved and clocks that called the hours as sweetly as a nightingale. Herr Drosselmeyer brought presents for the children. He gave Fritz a box of toy soldiers. For Marie, there were 2 dolls, Harlequin and Columbine, who danced with each other. "I have another present for you, Marie," said Herr Drosselmeyer, handing her a wooden nutcracker. "I want you to take good care of him." "Not fair!" shouted Fritz. "She has 3 presents." He grabbed the nutcracker from Marie and tossed him in the air. The nutcracker crashed to the floor and broke his head. "So what?" jeered Fritz. "It was an ugly thing." Herr Drosselmeyer bound Nutcracker's head with his handkerchief. Tenderly, Marie took the nutcracker into her arms, and she put him under the Christmas tree. Outside in the street, the carriages waited. After a flurry of goodbyes, Fritz and Marie were sent up to bed. "But my poor Nutcracker is all alone," thought Marie, tiptoeing back downstairs. Holding the Nutcracker close, she soon fell fast asleep. Herr Drosselmeyer slipped into the room and, raising his hand, cast a bit of magic. Bong, bong, bong. The grandfather clock struck midnight. Marie stirred and rubbed her eyes. The Christmas tree was growing. Around her came a scampering of mice. They were gathering like an army, ready to attack. Their ruler was the Mouse King, who had 7 heads and 7 crowns. Marie held the Nutcracker and ran as fast as she could. The Nutcracker leapt out of Marie's arms and held his sword at the ready. Fritz's toy soldiers took their battle positions. Swords flashed and cannons fired. Boom! Boom! Squeak! Squeak! The Nutcracker fought bravely, but the Mouse King was stronger. "No! No!" cried Marie. "You shall not hurt him." She pulled off her slipper and threw it with all of her might at the Mouse King. With a hiss, the Mouse King sank to the floor. Gathering up their king, the mice dragged him away. From the shadows, Herr Drosselmeyer saw Marie's bravery. He raised his hand, and the Nutcracker was transformed into a handsome prince. The prince bowed to Marie and placed the Mouse King's sparkling crown upon her head. "Come," said the prince. They walked through falling snowflakes to a waiting boat that flew them through the night. "Welcome to my kingdom," said the prince. "But where are we?" asked Marie. "You are in the land of sweets," said the sugar plum fairy, coming through the gates of the kingdom. "Welcome home, dear prince. We will have a party to celebrate your return." The sugar plum fairy led the prince and Marie to the seat of honor. Coffee, chocolate, Chinese tea, marzipan, and Mother Ginger and her Punchinellos danced for them. Pink roses waltzed. At last, the sugar plum fairy danced. She seemed lighter than air. Too soon it was time to leave. As they flew homeward, Marie asked the prince, "Will I ever see you again?" And the prince replied, "One day your courage and kind heart will be rewarded. Do not forget me." "What are you doing under the tree, Marie?" said her mother the next morning. "Wake up," said Herr Drosselmeyer. Marie opened her eyes and hugged her Nutcracker. She whispered, "If only you were alive, I would not care if Fritz said you were ugly. I would love you anyway." Herr Drosselmeyer raised his hand, and the Nutcracker again became the Prince of Fairyland. The prince said to Marie, "The Mouse King imprisoned me under an evil spell. But because you love me, no matter what I look like, his spell is now broken. I have been returned to my true form." Years passed, and the prince and Marie became engaged. After their wedding, they rode to the land of sweets in a coach trimmed in gold, drawn by 4 silver horses. To this day, there are those who say Marie is the queen of a wondrous fairyland that only those who believe can see.